Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name's Ben. If you're new here, I'm a meditation and spiritual teacher. And in today's video, I'm going to be explaining how I stay connected to the divine all day. Now, I'm a human being. I don't get this perfect, but this is how I aspire to work every single day and how I aspire to kind of live my life, I suppose. But I'm always trying to refine and improve myself, and some days this isn't perfect, but other days I do get it as close to perfect as I can currently. So it's a work in progress, but I think this may really help you if you're looking to integrate the divine into your day more. Maybe you meditate at the minute, but you feel a little bit disconnected throughout the day still. So hopefully what I go through in this video will really help you to integrate it more so it becomes part of your everyday experience. If you're interested in meditation and spirituality, I have an online school. I'll put a link in the description. It's called the Inner Journey School. We host weekly live sessions, loads of courses in there, an amazing community, so feel free to check that out. So I'm going to draw a timeline, and this timeline is very wonky. This is my daily timeline. So we go from morning and then to evening. And everything that we do in between here can in some way be allowing us to communicate with the divine or strengthen that inner relationship that we have or that we aspire to have. And if you don't, then the things that I'm going to outline in this video may really help you. So the first thing that I always do when I wake up, is I always, and this sounds really basic, but it will make more sense as I'm going along, is I always thank the divine as soon as I remember to, as soon as I become aware of this, and I aspire to do this as soon as my eyes open, is that I always thank the divine immediately for another day. And I know it sounds basic. The things that I'm going to go into further down the line are more interesting than this, but this is the raw truth of it, is I wake up and as soon as I remember to, I'll take a breath in consciously and thank the divine for that breath. And as ridiculous as it sounds, just the fact that we are able to take a deep breath in and have that air sustain us enables every other experience that we have in our life. Everything that we then go on to do that day, every pleasure that we may have, every coffee that we drink, every dinner we have or food that we intake, everything that makes life really enjoyable happens because we have that air that sustains us and that enables the body to function and operate and all of these other experiences to take place. So really showing gratitude for the simplicity of the fact that we can breathe. It sounds bizarre sometimes to our human mind to look at things in this much detail, but that makes a huge difference. And immediately you're putting yourself into a state of mind of gratitude, but also you're connecting and remembering the divine straight away. So you're setting the tone for the rest of the day. So I'm going to put here, thank the divine for another day. Thank divine for day. I'll just put day. I personally prefer then to meditate in the morning because for me, I think that it sets, alongside this, it kind of sets the tone for the rest of the day as well. You're sitting down, you're prioritizing the divine over all of the other activities that you're going to do that day. And ultimately, yes, meditation is training the mind. Yes, it's enabling us to de-stress and feel calmer and all of that sort of stuff. But ultimately, for me personally at least, meditation is a chance to communicate with the divine in a more intentional, focused manner. So I really enjoy starting the day off like that. It sets the tone, sets the intention. I've in a way prioritized the divine, which for me is an important thing. So then I would move into my morning meditation. Again, this still seems quite basic, and hopefully the other things that I start to touch upon may broaden your understanding, I suppose, broaden your idea of how you can connect with the divine a little bit more. So once I've finished my meditation, I'll then move on probably and have a shower. And this may seem like an activity where we're not really connected with the divine, we're just doing something within the world. But we have to remember, or it's important to remember at least, that there's nothing that is not the divine. There's nothing that's not God or the source, however you prefer to term it. I'm going to use the divine for this video. There's nothing that's not the divine. Therefore, everything that we interact with throughout the day, anything that we're doing, anything we're holding, even this pen, I can see that as a pen, or I can see that as the divine. And if I decide and shift my mentality and say, this is now the divine, I'm in a way, I'm peeling back the layers of illusion that we are all kind of covered with, the maya, as they say. So when I go into the shower, I'm not just showering myself with water, I'm being covered by the divine. I'm standing in a bath that's the divine. And it's also a good opportunity again to bring in more gratitude and remind yourself of the gifts that the divine has placed in your life. And many people will say, yeah, but I created the life that I've got. I got the job, I decided where I wanted to live, and I did all of these things, which to some degree is true, but they also then are overlooking the fact that the divine has given you the opportunity. The air you breathe is giving you the opportunity to do all of this, or the ability to do all of this. This universe that we're experiencing and existing in is the divine. So the divine has still allowed this experience to take place. So shower or other kind of bathroom activities other than going to the toilet, because it's mildly disrespectful in my opinion. Shower, remind yourself it is also the divine. And in between these activities, in fact, I'll get to that in a bit. So once I've finished my showering or just brushing the teeth and all of that sort of stuff, I would then personally move on to my breakfast. So I'm going to put down here breakfast. However, what I tend to do, and this is something that I would really, really encourage all of you to do if you're looking to strengthen your relationship with the divine, is the food that you're eating. We can easily just consume that food and think nothing of it. But as I was touching upon before, when we remind ourselves that everything is the source, including us, everything is the divine, it's humble, and it's an opportunity for you to remember the divine, to actually offer that food back to the source. And it can sound strange because you think, well, it is the source, how can you offer it back? But it's a sign of humility, it's a sign of the understanding that, yes, so at the very highest level we are the divine, but at the moment we're not experiencing ourselves as that. At the moment we're experiencing ourselves at a mind-body consciousness level. And so as a sign of humility, as a token of gratitude, you could say, I will always, as best as I can remember to, offer all of my food up to the divine. So before I eat it, I'll just say thank you so much for this lovely food. I understand so many people around the world struggle to get it as easily as I have now. Please may I offer it up to you. Thank you so much. And then I will go in and eat the food. So for breakfast, I will offer food to the divine. And again, this can seem like a really bizarre thing to do, especially. It can almost seem slightly religious, and if you're someone that is sort of put off by religion, it can really bring up a bit of resistance. But I don't do this in any kind of religious context. I don't follow a religion, as many of you know. I take a more kind of universal, direct approach to the divine. And this has been a really amazing way to, all throughout the day, remind yourself, because as the Buddha once said, as you think, so you become. As you think, so you become. And if you want to become the divine, if you want to realize yourself as the divine, you can implement this way of being, this mentality, this approach as you think, so you become. And really what we're doing through this daily timeline as we go about our day is more and more frequently we're actually reminding ourselves of the divine. We're thinking of the divine. And by the law of attraction, which is kind of a fancy way of just saying, as you think, so you become, you're bringing that reality to you. You're allowing that truth to be experienced. So I always offer up my food. I personally, depending on what I'm doing in that day, I do quite a lot of traveling for my job, my day job outside of teaching. So for me, this will involve driving or some kind of commuting. So I'll put commuting, and then it might be more applicable to a broader audience. Commuting. And whilst I'm commuting, this is again an opportunity for me and us to strengthen this relationship, to remember the divine. And I personally do that by repeating a mantra. And I use this japa ring, mantra ring. They have different names. This one actually was gifted to me by a really, really dear friend of mine. I lent him a book, and then he lent me this, or gave me actually, this japa ring. And this one's got obviously the cross and a picture of Jesus Christ. You don't need to have one that has that on it if that doesn't appeal to you. This was just, that for me, that is absolutely fine. But you simply place this on your finger and you use the ring to mantra in a more conscious manner. And when I say mantra, I don't simply mean an affirmation where you repeat ordinary words or sentences like, I am happy, I am happy. I would repeat a prayer, for me personally, I have a strong connection with Krishna. So I often will just say Krishna, Krishna, as I'm moving the ring around my finger. If you were a follower of Jesus Christ, you could repeat the name of Jesus. If you were a follower of Krishna, you could say the name of Krishna. If you didn't follow any of these and you just wanted to find a mantra that you enjoyed, you can Google Sanskrit mantras and see if there are any that really appeal to you, and you can just repeat the mantra. And the mantra has divine vibrations within it. So the idea of repeating mantras is that it enables us to elevate our level of consciousness, our vibrational rate. And this is another way that we can start to bring the mind under more control, but we can actually, again, develop this relationship more, this connection more, remembering the divine more and more. So commuting, I would always mantra. And as I said at the start, I'm not perfect. Sometimes I'll be driving along and I'll listen to a podcast and I'll totally forget to do this, or I might mantra for 10, 20 minutes and then I'll do something else. But more and more, as I've done this over the years, I've found that my ability to integrate this more and more into the day has developed more and more. So over time, this will expand and hopefully consume more and more of your day. And by the way, I didn't mention at the start, if you're totally new to my channel and you've not come across me before, I was really fortunate and I was introduced to meditation at the age of 6 because my dad was a teacher, and I was taught by him and then a divine master, what's known as an avatar. And so a lot of this have been things that I've been very aware of for over 20 years, and some periods of my life I've not practiced this, but for the last good portion of my life I've been working and integrating this more and more and more. So I understand that a lot of it can sound strange. I understand that this isn't always easy to integrate immediately, but I also understand that it is possible. And if you're open to developing yourself more, you can do it. And this will really, really help you to integrate the divine more into your life. So ultimately, those things that I've done there, which is essentially praying and offering food up to the divine, remembering the divine when you're doing mundane tasks, when you're doing basically anything, understand that what it is you're interacting with is actually God. I meditate in the morning, and between the gaps of activity, when I'm not doing things that require like mental activity, I will repeat a mantra or the name of the divine, which for me, as I say, I use the name of Krishna most of the time. And this, I would kind of continue all through the day. So whenever I'm eating lunch, I will offer that food up. Whenever I'm commuting between work or when I'm commuting on the way home, I will also mantra again. Commute. I'll just put commute mantra. And this will continue, and sometimes I will then meditate again in the evening. So let's put evening meditation. And another point about the meditation periods, I really make this a focused part of my day, in as much as when I walk into the room where I'm meditating, I will shift my mindset completely and do all of this work in a much more intentional, focused way. So as soon as I walk into the room, I'll thank the room inwardly. I'll say inwardly with my internal voice, I'll say, thank you so much for allowing me to use this room to meditate. Same when I sit down to sit on the candle. My head is ahead of the game. When I go to sit on my meditation zafu or cushion, I will thank that cushion, because without that, my meditation would be slightly more difficult. So I will inwardly say, thank you so much for, enabling me to meditate in a more comfortable manner that I prefer. And then when I light my candle, thank you so much for the lighter. Without that lighter, I couldn't light the candle, and it would, only a small impact, but it would somewhat impact my experience of that meditation. So everything that I start doing in the meditation process, I will start bringing in much more intentional, focused gratitude for everything. And then I will really see it as a communion with God or the divine. Now, when it gets to the evening, this is when powerful things can take place. So the evening, for me, is a period of time when I really will kind of more consciously remember the divine. And I know it seems like I'm doing it consciously anyway, but if I forget throughout the day or, fill the gaps, and sometimes I mantra, sometimes I don't. With the evening routine, I always make sure that this is something I really am conscious of doing. And in any way that you can meditate before you go to bed, pray before you go to bed, or the big one would be to repeat a mantra or the name of the divine before you go to bed. What this will start to do is, as you fall asleep, you're transitioning from the conscious mind into the subconscious mind. And if you're going through that transitional period whilst saying a mantra, the mantra will often continue into the sleep state, and you'll find that the impact of that is much, much greater. So it can be a really, really great, amazing habit to get into, as you are going to bed. I've put evening there, but let's say like bedtime routine. I'll just put bed. As you're going to bed, repeating, I'll put a mantra, and then it kind of opens the door to whatever you prefer. I repeat a mantra, and in that moment, as I say, you're passing this mantra from the conscious mind into the subconscious mind, and amazing things can take place from that point. So just to recap, the 3 activities that I would recommend are gratitude. So gratitude, but specifically thanking the divine. Meditation, of course, which you probably already do. Mantra, also sometimes known as japa, or repetition of a divine name. Offering up food. And the other thing that I didn't mention is that all throughout this period of time, we may have periods of time when we get tested. So we may feel that we get a bit, frustrated here. Frustration. It might be at some stage here we get a bit angry about something. There's a bit of road rage. So we get a bit angry. Maybe we have a great day at work and we get a bonus. Anything that we perceive as negative or positive, it just is in the grand scheme of things. In the higher levels, it just is an experience. So if you can get into the habit of, when you feel angry, when you feel frustrated, if you feel jealous, but equally if you have what we would consider a positive outcome, so you get a bonus at work, someone opens a door for you or smiles at you when you walk down the street, something really nice happens. Use that as a trigger to remember the divine and thank the divine in those moments for the tests, for the ability to recognize your flaws and overcome them, or your defects and overcome them, or equally with what we would consider positive things, for your blessings, for these amazing occurrences that are going on in your life. And again, you're just using daily experiences as a mechanism to remember the source, the divine. So I could probably list out a few more things, but I think this is enough to really fill your day and really give you lots to work on. And I'd love to hear if some of these things are things that you already do, or if you live your life in a way like this, or if you have a totally different way of communicating with the divine throughout the day. Please let me know in the comments. I'm always interested to hear your take on this, your experiences with this. And as I said at the start, if you want to be part of a community, that also massively helps to remember the divine and kind of develop all of this work. So I've got a link in the description for my personal community. Feel free to join us. I will leave it at that. Thanks so much and look forward to seeing you on the next video.